Well, it makes you wonder if there was some sort of a portal involved with the structure like Stonehenge, but it still makes me think of a church or some sort of a sacred building or structure of some sort. Maybe it was a giant circle, I don't know. Because to me, that looks like it may have been from before the time of Christ. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not an archaeologist, but I look, the stones are tumbled, some of them seem blackened. And I don't know that if it was a simple fire that it would have left marks like that. So something seemed to have happened. But I also got the impression that there's something underneath that area. Now, I didn't even know there was an underneath until you showed me the drone footage. And then I could see that that is on top of a hill, or maybe a hill was built up because of the castle or church tumbling down, and then just years of dirt, maybe a flood of some sort that may have happened, maybe a volcano. I don't know. No, I'm thinking there's no way you could have had that at the time I'm looking at.
Okay.
So I would be thinking like if an earthquake or a volcano caused a tsunami where water rushed over the land, something like that, because it's not just that the stones are turned over, they're turned over and buried. And the soil in that area looks different from every other place around it. Like there's not a lot of vegetation. Some spots the vegetation is darker, some places it's more golden. So there's some sort of an energy that's still there.
People talking rumors that in the ancient times, there was a volcano about 10 miles away from this area. And that it looks like a small mountain kind of. And they're talking that this mountain actually is the area where was the crater of the volcano. But I'm not sure if this is real or just a rumors.
Yeah,
And also around, there's not any stones like this. They're not stones. Even the 30 miles, 40 miles, there's not stones like that stones.
So that would have been a lot of effort to get the stones there in the first place.
I mean, it depends if in this time there was a giants.
Right.
Probably for them it will be easier to move it and to put in specific order.
Right, because we would not have had the kinds of machines to lift up that, or like at Stonehenge, they would have been too big. So I like the idea of giants, and the Bible talks about that too.
Fascinating. That one on the left does look like a pyramid, that one rock. Very straight, some interesting lines there. Very interesting lines. I'm getting a sense that these rocks have been used for a super long time. They've been used, back into really primitive periods. This is really fascinating. Okay, let me write some of this stuff down as it's coming to me. Just give me a second here. Okay, I'm getting a lot of different things have happened here. From tool sharpening and experimentation to a small group living right here thousands of years ago. And they experimented with different things. They experimented with like a rope in sand or something. I'm getting like a string in sand. They were trying different ways to carve in stone, and they also used the area for sharpening weapons over time. Everything from very primitive stuff to later. I'm even getting animals being dissected here after kills. Post-hunting spot for carving up meat. I'm getting nothing extraterrestrial or abnormal. I'm just getting a lot of natural history around these. But there's a whole series of rocks over that whole hillside there and around that are these kind of almost megalithic type rocks that would be dropped from ice, retreating ice glaciers, from retreating glaciers. So there may be some unnatural minerals in some of these rocks that are not from that immediate area because they were dragged from further south from glacial movements. That's what I'm getting. And I'm getting this location being used for a long time by different groups for different reasons. Very primitive peoples using it as a location for living right there. But they also use the stones for a variety of different purposes, from, you know, tool sharpening to experimentation with stonework to carving up meat, post hunting. They even, I think, you might even find, what's it called, vitrified? Vitrified? There might be an area there where they had a little bit of kind of like a, I forget what, a forge almost, but an oven. And that's it. I'm not getting anything else really extraterrestrial or weird about it. I'm getting the area there is actually an anomalous geomagnetic area of inflow from the magnetic field. I'm getting that inflow magnetic field line. Interesting. So is that in Bulgaria?
Yes.
Fascinating. Had they found any pottery around there?
Actually, never was done any archaeological excavation in the area. They never been done like this.
Interesting. I think there's some unusual shapes there that are flukes of nature, kind of. Have you ever heard of the Yanaguni monument off of Japan? It's underwater. It's a giant monument with very, right angles. And a lot of people speculated that it was built by a early advanced civilization. But the rocks are cut at those amazing angles through a natural process. And so people look into it more deeply because it's so rare of a geological occurrence. But I think that area has a ritual background, a very primitive ritual background. I don't think those stones all went together in a building of any kind. I think they've been used for, eons for different purposes. It's been an active site of habitation for thousands of years, right there, right amidst those rocks. So that's basically what I get from that so far.
There's still some out there, maybe hidden, but I think they might still be around. Okay. When I looked at your pictures, my mind starts going into like a fairy tale, a story. And I could see that this would be a time when there were the Druids or pagans, whatever you call them, before regular religion. So I saw people being married where they would take a band and wrap it around their hands, what they called hand fasting, before they used rings to exchange. I saw people dancing, wearing like the white clothes. Some of them had more colored clothes. It was a very simple time. And I don't want to be confused because I still have pictures in my head of that other stone you showed me with the carving on it.
Cancel that other picture.
I know I have to. We have to keep them separate. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe the volcano took it down or an earthquake. I don't know, but I think it's always possible. But it seems sad that an area that seemed very innocent at the time would become that corrupted, but that matches Bible stories perfectly. It also matches stories of the Mahabharata from India, where there was a war in space and the signs of nuclear destruction in certain areas too. that should not have had those capabilities in their day, at least according to our history. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen in real history, in real time, but the story may have been hidden away and relegated as myth.
Mhm.
But I think that the fact that some of the lines from the Mahabharata were used when our own nuclear weapons were first used, now I have become death, the destroyer of worlds. I think it's all related in that the stories were true and we figured out that technology for a second time.
Yeah. You asked me about these lines. You said, what is this lines? Even the cross you see on the stone. Um, what about if this lines was made or the stone was cut with laser or something like that?
I wonder about that with a lot of stones that I've seen at some of the older temples, Machu Picchu and some of the other places that are so old. Some of the oldest ones are out there in Turkey. So I don't know, but it kind of makes sense if it's advanced technology, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Actually,
maybe gods, but advanced beings. Because for anybody that's not familiar with technology, it's certainly going to look like magic, right?
yeah, of course.
So it could.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you that it could be something like that.
I have a app with I can measure the electromagnetic polarity. So everywhere I'm going, even in Machu Picchu, I'm measuring the polarity for electromagnetic. You know, so only these stones in Skritza, in that hill, they have huge anomalies with magnetic anomalies. I've been in Machu Picchu and I measured every stone I saw, even in the temple of the sun. There's not, I mean, it's normal magnetic waves over there. It's normal.
Interesting.
It is.
I wonder if in other places where anything nuclear was used, if you might find the same thing, like, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
According to the words of this Professor Todornichev, he said in this stone, that stone is not, it's a flat, but it's not horizontal. It's a little bit, how to say that, 45 degree?
Yeah, like it's half knocked over.
Yeah. So, he said that when a woman's supposed to deliver a baby, they put it in that stone. Her head is on the top and her legs is on the bottom. If you can imagine what I'm talking about.
Well, it's funny thinking about fertility rites.
Yeah. So when she delivered the baby, the person who helping with that delivery, they took the baby and they not put it literally, but nearby that stone is another area. It looks like a tube, like a tube.
Like before you said tube, I had a vision of some sort of a portal where the soul can come in to the baby as it's being born, and that was supposed to make a clear passageway.
Possibly.
Interesting. Yeah, it makes you wonder what kind of souls are being brought into the world.
So around these stones, there's another stone. It's a little bit bigger from all the stones we already talked. And that stone is very interesting. So I'm going to show in the movie when I'm talking about this stone now. It's a big stone. It's not huge, but it's big. And according to the words of the Professor Dichev, he said, if you feel tired, if you have trouble with sleeping or something like this, you can come here and lay down in the stone, your head should be in east, your legs in the west. And when you go and lay in that stone, looks like stone is changing and getting exactly the form of your body. So when you're laying down, you feel super nice. You're not uncomfortable because it's stone. And I've been there many times for laying down and staying for 20 minutes. Actually, for all the stones, you have to stay for 20 minutes. He said like that. And
the magic number.
Maybe you know better. So you lay down, and after 20 minutes you feel completely refreshed. Like something, if I want to try to compare this, something like if you was tired, like 20 minutes laying down in the stone, and then you wake up and it looks like you slept for days, something like that. There's another very interesting stones. There's two stones. You see, you have that picture.
The blue stones, yeah, they were different.
Yeah, there's two stones. Looks like pyramid in the middle of them. Okay, there's two stones, and between them have a space. And when you look the space, you see like upside down pyramid. So when he said that these stones, the space between that stones, if you stay for 20 minutes, again, without shoes, without socks, just feet on the ground.
So you're grounded. Okay.
Yeah, and your hands need to be a little bit open in the side, both of them. And your face is in the west, and the back is east. So if you stay for 20 minutes there, if you had problem with the high blood pressure, everything is gone. Everything is going to be normal. If you have another lady who lives nearby that area, her house is exactly over there. She mentioned once that her name is Anna. She said, usually I have a low blood pressure, but when I'm going to the stones and staying there for 20 minutes, I feel much better. So looks like this, again, electromagnetic anomaly helping her to fix to receive a normal blood pressure numbers. Or if you have a high blood pressure, then that thing can be lowered. So for me, that looks like some intelligent thing because you're going there and you don't say anything, but just you can see the result after that.
That's interesting.
It is.
But it makes you wonder, is there a portal, or are there dimensions pressing up against one another in that area where you have this positive energy going on? You know, have you ever tried meditating there, sitting in that circle and just meditating to see what happens?
I never done that, but I'm going to do now when I'm going.
Yeah, or get a group of friends together and do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. And you talk about portal for another dimension, or maybe another worlds or whatever. And I have this impression also, because maybe something like wormholes, because most of the time the UFO crafts is coming in our world, they're using wormholes. And this is a fact. Many scientists talking about this, even Stanton Friedman talking about that the visitors from another planets or worlds or dimensions. So I'm not sure for dimensions, but for another planets and universes, they're using these wormholes. They're able to open it just to come in And when they come in, that this portal is closing yet.
So maybe, makes you wonder, was it created or was it naturally occurring? And maybe there are things like that all around the planet that we're just not aware of, or that is like suppressed information. And could it also be that that electromagnetic field is something that could be picked up to be active, or maybe even as a source of energy for the craft? Because they've talked about having ships show up over Stonehenge, and I think they have some sort of a field as well. You'll have to get out there with your meter and measure those stones.
Yeah, when they have a chance.
And there's in crop circles, I know you're familiar with crop circles.
Yeah.
They pick up signals from inside the ones that were, well, even if they're not naturally occurring, like from the ships, the ones that people make seem to put out a signal too. So there's something about the forming of those circles. It would be great if we could get an overhead shot that's clearer on top of that mound to see if it's more circular, like if it was something like Stonehenge.
And then about the stones, I talked with Clifford Stone and with Six Topaz from Peru, and they both of them, they said that stones was moved from somewhere, put it there, and put in this specific order for some purpose.
Right.
What he mentioned, by the way, for altars, for sacrifices, you talk about in your visions, you said something similar about this.
Yeah, that it was changed. It became evil for sacrifice.
But it says that that place is very pure. So when you do sacrifice of animal, then your offering is, I mean, the animal is getting pure.
It's an innocent life.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, something like the animal doesn't suffer of this sacrifice, and at the same time, your offer is accepted. Something like this.
Interesting that he would say that too. I didn't want to go there because it's dark. That's when I said in my notes to you that it felt like something had changed. It's interesting how it reminds me also of Atlantis, when they had some sort of a stone or a crystal that was perhaps used wrong and caused some sort of an energy surge that made them sink, maybe even caused massive earthquakes and destruction. So I wonder if that was over on your side of the ocean. I don't know if they're 100% sure of where Atlantis was.
I would like to thank you that we have it today with UFO Disclosure Bulgaria, and Buddy also will be added to this audio and video. And thank you, Buddy, for sharing your visions and your interpretations about this interesting, phenomenal healing stones and spiritual life area. Thank you, both of you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.